Well, it's important for you to remember that whereas I might have experienced something and hold it to be true very strongly, therefore, as a consequence, you may have only heard of such, say, from me. Therefore, there's a much greater measure of uncertainty. You are free, much freer, therefore, to believe something or not to believe it. It's very important that you experience this freedom. You see, love, in this case we're thinking of love of God and all that He cares for, which is all as far as I understand it. It's a voluntary thing. It's voluntary, that's determined by your values, who you are, and who you become. And in experiencing living according to such persona as you have, you weave for yourself certain experiences. And I think it's not just of yourself. It's a loving influence from God. And from those experiences, you change. You see, this is the universe of change. And a great opportunity, this universe. You can exercise your will, your values, and learn from such exercise the reality, the validity or otherwise of such. And you adjust who you are. It's not something you have to be consciously aware of. You don't have to be consciously aware, of this process. But if you are, well, you start to become an intent observer of what's going on in your life. Both what you are making, and you start to be sensitive to how God is influencing it. You come to know your dearest friend who dwells in you. And if you wish not to be aware of such, you can choose not to be. But the consequence of such will ultimately lead you to long for God. Because in you is life. That you do value and will value because you're living. You see, the words of Jesus, "I'm come that you might have life and have it more abundantly." And it talks of life eternal. If you want such, and the temporary life leads you to want such, and because of that, what the world has condemned as selfishness, you come to realize that your real needs are met by Him. Your very existence, the whole of the universe, your very self, And as that dawns on you, of course, your gratitude goes through the ceiling. You hurtle into the arms and the embrace of God. This wonderful person. Well, words can't get enough credit, can they? So your lack of understanding and uncertainty become in this universe an incredible blessing that powers you through eternity in the next universe, in simplistic terms, in God's family. A fantastic member of the heavenly host with all the others. That's as I see it. You may find something attractive about this picture. You may not. It's your call. Bless you. But I believe you are blessed. And I'm so glad for your sake. Thank you, Heavenly Dad. So, in some sense, it's not right for me to say, believe me, because it's something you would need to do of your own free will. Very much so. Else it won't be a joy, it will be a, well, I have to do this in order to achieve so-and-so. But belief doesn't seem to be like that. Belief seems to be, you come to realize you now want so-and-so. You know, the person that falls in love, they find, that they find this other person so attractive, so lovely, so ideal, so what they want. They find they love. They find they long for. So you find you value something. You can reason that you value some things because you have found that you have certain values already, and that by logical analysis this seems to imply such and such. So you hold, perhaps tenuously, that such and such is part of your value system, and you might act then accordingly and find out the truth of the matter. In the action, the consequence, you may come to firmly value such of itself, or you may come to reject such as being hostile to what you value after all. Life is a fantastic experience, you see. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that just amazing? You know, you hear some words from some people and you think, oh yeah, I agree with that. It seems to crystallize in words something that is true for you. You found it to be true as far as you know, from your experience and understanding. So you might listen further because you think, well, perhaps this person has more of that which reveals to me what I already feel somehow to be true. And I guess scripture is like that for some people. It speaks to the very heart of them and they think, yes, that's what I value. My soul longs for you. Thank you, Heavenly Dad. We can understand further that in some sense you're not free. I mean, if words don't ring true to you, you're not just free to believe them because you in your heart, in your personhood, this is not what you value. I mean, I'm free to not follow what I don't value. Yeah, I'm free in that sense. I mean, assuming there's no other imposition upon us, or indoctrination that's being rammed in, so that I think I value this or I think I don't value it. But I very quickly find in the practice of such the validity or otherwise. And God allows us to wander into situations where we experience what we find we don't wish to value, don't value at all, don't like this. You become very clear. You don't like this. That's not you. You're not having that. You can help it. You know in your heart that you trust something different. So life here is incredibly helpful. A great blessing in the infinite scheme of things. In the real dimension in which you dwell in eternity, what we call heaven. Our reason for being here. To help mature us for life eternal. That's the drift I see in the Jesus story. And of course I find it a most attractive view. And therefore live and react accordingly to life's experiences and opportunities as I see them from such a view, in as far as I'm conscious, and perhaps even in as far as I'm not conscious. My values are forever steering what I'm drawn to and what I purpose. And when I say I mean any one of us, as far as I know. So I'm free in the sense that my personhood is steering me in the way that I value, that I might find out the validity or otherwise of such, and be transformed accordingly by such experience here in the universe of the transitory. In another sense, of course, I mean, our understanding of life is narrowly from our conscious awareness of living here, which to a great extent seems to be an experience of continual change. And it's of interest to us that when we don't get continual change, or if we get too much stability and lack of change, we become a bit lifeless and less joyful. Of course, there's some states that afford us a lot of ongoing joy and blessedness. And we experience a sort of peace in that sense. But much of life is not that sort of sense of peace here. It's this amazing mix of good and bad, activity and rest, reflection and awareness, and lack of awareness, lack of reflection. But the result I trust is to the goodness of our Heavenly Dad. And so we find as children that we grow up, even whether or not we understand the process that's going on. But it does seem to be the case that if you understand the process in this way, you're likely to be more assured and perhaps more efficient in one's training. Thank you, Heaven.